Okay, from the film Honk, let's bring up Cheryl Allison. And from Grid Down, Power Up, David Tice. Is David here? One mic.
Thank you. Yeah, and I've got Mary Beth here too.
Okay, and David, I guess, is not here. Okay. Mary Beth, here you go.
Hey, darling.
All right, so Cheryl, let's talk a little bit about Honk. How did you, get involved with the project? How did this come about? Where did this all start?
Well, the film kind of showed that, I was just, we were in the middle of lockdown and I was taking walks and, out of nowhere came this little goose running up and honking towards me. And, and the journey started from there. And I was just really grateful that, because I didn't know anything. Like I said in the film, I had not been around geese or ducks. And so I was very grateful that my friend, Judy, who did know more about it than me, helped raise my awareness about what a domestic duck or goose is, and then connecting me with the wonderful Mary Beth Purdy, who she's a New Yorker, and she works every day with her friends that are here to help rescue domestic ducks and geese, especially in Prospect Park in Brooklyn. So they're doing it every day, and I'm so appreciative of that.
Yep. As a matter of fact, today we were out, my rescue partner, Jessica, right there. Wave your hands, Jessica. From our group, They All Want to Live. We were out this morning rescuing 6 that were dumped last week. And it took a while, but we got them. And there was another one dumped the week before in Prospect Park as well. So it's been nonstop.
It's so interesting. Like, this film is getting so much buzz, and you've seen it on, in the news and everything else. When you first set out to make this film, did you know that it was going to develop such a community and such a following?
No, absolutely not. Not at the beginning. I really just thought I was going to make some cute videos with this goose that was there, and maybe entertain some people during a tough time. But then when I started to become educated and realize his situation, then I knew that it was an opportunity to raise awareness and an educational aspect that I could take into schools and for children to raise their awareness. What really shocked me was how the world literally fell in love with him and became invested in his journey. And then obviously he passed away, 2 years after I had rescued him, and they're still on board, because now what they do is they support Rogers Wildlife Rehabilitation Center, and they want to learn about the other birds and the other waterfowl that is there, and it's pretty amazing. And I will share this, and I do this at every screening, to kind of show you the power that how this goose touched people all over the world. We had our premiere in Dallas. You came for it. It was like March 2nd, I believe. And Honk had passed away a month before our premiere. And, I continued to post videos and things like that of him. And I get tons of messages every day on Instagram still. And I got a message from a woman who said, "I want to thank you for continuing to post videos about Honk. It's keeping my children calm during air raids." And then she said, "Ukraine loves Honk." Wow. And, and that one thing, it was like, wow,
Amazing. Does anybody have any questions for Cheryl or Mary Beth? Let's start in the back. Go ahead.
I am so glad you asked that, because this is our we were so happy to wrap up our film festival circuit. We've been in 36 now film festivals, and you are our last one.
Oh,
and we were so happy to end back here in New York City, cool. Because this past Tuesday, November 15th, the film was released. We did acquire distribution through Vision Films, and so the film is released on Amazon and Vimeo and iTunes and Vudu and all of those online platforms, as well as cable on demand, Dish, DirecTV, Comcast, all of that. And they also made DVDs. And we sold out Amazon twice already, so that's pretty amazing. So yes, the film is distributed. You can see it or recommend it to people that that might like it. They can always follow more more information about the film at honkthefilm.com. That's the website.
Great. All right, we had another question up front. Go ahead.
Any idea how old Honk was?
How old was Honk?
Yeah, that was a good question. Kathy Rogers examined him after he passed away, and she determined that he was older than we had originally thought. And she said he was definitely a senior goose. But he was not injured. He had no disease. And you saw him in the footage. When I was singing with him, that was actually about 90 minutes before they found him. So I had left and went back home, and then about 90 minutes later, they found him peacefully passed away on his pile of leaves. So she believes it was old age.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
Since meeting Honk and learning about the plight of domestic waterfowl, have you come across any other dumb domestic birds?
Okay, yes. People will contact me and say, "Oh, there's a bird here," and I always refer them to Rogers Wildlife. But some good friends of mine were playing golf in a place called Grand Prairie, which is right outside of Dallas, and they sent me a picture, and it was a goose that looked exactly like Honk. So it was a pilgrim or Toulouse, and it had the little black, little speck on its nose. And I immediately cried because it looked just like him, but it was much smaller, so I could tell it was probably a girl. I think I called you, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's another one. And she had been dumped at this golf course, and she was panicked. She was trying to hang out with a flock of wild Canada geese, and they were ignoring her. And she couldn't fly, so if she'd get in the golf pond, she wasn't able to get out. So I went out there, and my friends stayed, and it took about 2.5 hours, but we were able to corral her. I had gotten a cage from Kathy Rogers, and I was able to rescue her. And she is now at Rogers Wildlife, and she's best friends with the goose that used to be Honk's best friend, named Beetle Goose. And so, so it was a really, really great story. And she's out there, and I go visit her.
Yeah, we have a question up front. Yes.
How can you purchase the books?
The book is on BookBaby.com, and then you can just search Honk. And there's 2 books. There's a hardcover storybook with the watercolor illustrations, beautiful book. And then we have an activity book, which is sort of a single-use book because it's a coloring book for kids. And it also has crossword puzzles, word search, multiple choice, things like that to educate them. And so those have been selling great. And proceeds from the books go to Rogers Wildlife. And the distributors, Vision Films, also agreed to give a portion of the sales of the film to Rogers. So it's all paying it forward.
All right. Any one last question? Anyone? Yeah, in the back.
I'm so sorry.
Not selling ducklings and chicks. Is anything being done?
You know what? I'm going to give it to the expert here.
And Jessica, you can chime in as well. I know there's legislation trying to happen here to stop the selling, especially like with school hatching projects. Schools will do these programs where they'll hatch eggs in classrooms to teach kids about the life cycle of a duck or a chick. And then that's when, they'll get dumped shortly after that. It all comes from the suppliers. So you've got these suppliers like Tractor Supply and all these egg producers that sell the ducklings and the eggs. And it really has to start from the top down because this is crazy, you can order ducklings online, and then what they do is they will ship them through the post office. And you will pick them up at your local post office, and many of them don't survive. And in New York City, it's illegal to have ducks. You can have chicks. People have chickens in New York City. You can't have roosters, but it's illegal. And so, but they will still sell them. You buy them online, and they'll sell them and send them to your post office.
And so many of them don't make it.
And they don't make it. And they'll throw extras in there to keep the ones that are in there warm.
And they do that with chickens too, right? The little chicks.
Yeah, and just so some will survive. So it's a terrible situation that really, it really needs to stop. But it needs to stop from the top.
All right. So now that the film's going to be released, any final any final words from Cheryl, Mary Beth, on the film's release?
No, I'm
or-
just really grateful. You know, the story and the message of Honk that's just been received so well and continues to educate. And of course, after I lost him, you know, it was obvious I was devastated. But you know, I did right by him. His story's going to continue, so he lives on in this journey, and I think that that's huge. And if it can help the next generation, and I get messages from teachers who have read the book to their kindergartners or first grades, and it's wonderful to hear what they say. You know, they're like, "We're never going to purchase baby ducks or anything like that," and so, you know, one person at a time. So maybe it'll be easier with that. And one thing too, that meeting Honk really taught me that birds and waterfowl have emotions, just like dogs and cats. Kathy Rogers taught me that. You taught me that. And I was amazed at that because, you know, I was like, a bird? Really? You know? But you can see it. You can see it. He loved me and was bonded with me just like a dog would be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mary Beth, any final thoughts?
No, just don't buy any ducklings.
Yeah.
Or
Hashtag
geese
don't dump
or
ducks.
Don't dump ducks.
Okay. All right. Thank you,
Thanks for
Cheryl,
having
Mary
us.
Beth. The film is
you.
Honk. It's
Yeah.
out now on
Yes,
Amazon and
it
other
is.
streaming platforms. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. It was great. It was a great screening.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It was awesome.